What's up guys, FearSpartans here. In today's video we're going to be discussing what Call of Duty will look like in 10 years from now. Not necessarily gameplay aspects, because gameplay aspects even in Call of Duty don't really change much over a 10-year period. We're going to be talking about more about like, will Call of Duty still do a yearly release, or will they move to like a subscription-based model, stuff like that. So let's get started right off with that. Will Call of Duty still do a yearly release? And I honestly don't think so. Call of Duty's already been going for like 13 years, which is a long time in the gaming industry. And for them to do that for another 10 years, to me seems highly unlikely that they'll be able to do that, every year with a $60 game, and then this another battle pass, or if they ever go back to the season pass, all that sort of stuff. So I find it hard to imagine that they'll be doing that. Plus, I think the overall gaming industry is just moving towards a subscription-based model, just like pretty much everything else, like with Netflix and Disney Plus and ESPN Plus and all that sort of stuff. Everything's like moving towards a subscription-based model, and so I wouldn't be surprised if the video game industry follows suit. I mean, obviously there's some video games that already do that, but I'm imagining that even more are going to be doing that very, very soon here. So I'm assuming that the yearly release is going to end, which is honestly not a terrible thing. Even with like the 3-year dev cycle for Call of Duty, they've been producing less content. So maybe a subscription-based model is the way to go for Call of Duty. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see exactly. I think that's highly likely. So let's move into another one. I think that there might end up being a free-to-play console game. The chances are probably less likely than Call of Duty ending their yearly release, but I really want to see this just because, one, obviously free-to-play, anything free I'll take, but with how successful Call of Duty Mobile has been, I wouldn't be surprised if Activision tried to do something with the console market, providing them a free game and just doing like a bunch of microtransactions off of it, kind of like Call of Duty Mobile does. We'll have to wait and see if that would happen. This kind of goes along with something that I'll talk about later, but I would really like to see this. And if they're really trying to promote, their competitive pro league or whatever, I think doing a free-to-play competitive game that anyone can play would be great for Call of Duty if they actually want, Call of Duty competitive to be a real thing and actually make that 25 million they were charging teams to compete in the league actually be worth it. Could you imagine like if they just did like Black Ops 2 League play but as a free game, and then just took basic weapons that pretty much everyone used in that game, like M8, AN94, MSMC, MP7, the highly used competitive weapons, and just all the competitive maps, and just made like a ranked Call of Duty game that anyone can play in on console and PC. I think that'd be really, really cool to see. Obviously, that's probably not going to happen, but I think that would be really good for Call of Duty. I still think the chances, that we might end up seeing a free-to-play Call of Duty, fairly possible. Not nearly as likely, though, as the end of the yearly release of Call of Duty. Next up, something that I actually think could very likely happen, and that is a third-person battle royale game. With Call of Duty, the biggest issue when trying to sell microtransactions is the fact that it's a first-person game, and I will never buy any cosmetics ever in a Call of Duty game unless the Call of Duty game is absolutely great, like it was in Black Ops 2. I bought a couple of camos. I bought like the cyborg camo and I think one other like party rock camo or something. And there's just no point in buying cosmetic items in Call of Duty, and it's really hard to convince a lot of people like me to do that. I know I did buy the Battle Pass, but I'm just doing the Battle Pass just because I don't want them to bring back supply drops. I think that pretty much anything else is better than supply drops, especially the Battle Pass. And so I think that Call of Duty and even Activision realizes that making a third-person game would actually really help, whether that's a Battle Royale or just a third-person Call of Duty, which Sledgehammer Games was rumored to be working on a third-person Vietnam game years ago. Maybe they could end up doing that, and it seems like Sledgehammer Games has been kind of like removed from the three-year cycle, and they're moving back to the 2-year cycle with Treyarch and Infinity Ward. So it could be interesting to see if Sledgehammer Games is working on their own project, if that project was a third-person game, if it could be like Battle Royale. Battle Royale market's slowly dying, but it's still definitely like the most played market right now. I'd probably say with Fortnite and Apex Legends and PUBG. So I would honestly not mind that at all. I think Sledgehammer Games could do a really good job, and I'm really happy with Sledgehammer Games. It's like what they've done in Call of Duty with their help in Modern Warfare 3. Even Advanced Warfare had some cool aspects. World War II initially was not very good at all, but they ended up fixing a lot of stuff and actually made World War II a very enjoyable game for its second half of its year. So Sledgehammer Games is working on their own project. Hopefully, it's a third-person game. I'd love to see that, whether it's Battle Royale or just a third-person Call of Duty. I think that'd be great to see. And so, lastly, we're going to talk about some remastered games, and this is probably the most likely that's going to happen. How many remastered games we get in this next decade, who knows? I'm sure we'll probably get 2. I would think Modern Warfare 2 Remastered would come at some point, and I think Black Ops 2 would come at some point to be remastered. I don't know if they would be able to do many other games than that, just because they don't really have the resources, I feel like, to make more than like 2. At max, they would be able to make like 3 remastered Call of Duties, I feel like, in the next 10 years. Modern Warfare 2, if they do like the rumors where it's just campaign only, I think that's completely stupid and just a waste of resources to just redo the campaign. Of course, those rumors were like so long ago at this point. It's kind of crazy. It's been like almost like 2 years now since those rumors came out, I feel like. We'll have to wait and see if Modern Warfare 2 ever does get remastered. I guess potentially they could also try to finish the trilogy and also remaster Modern Warfare 3 as well. But I think Black Ops 2 is a lot safer bet for them to remaster, just because Black Ops 2 is known as the community's favorite Call of Duty game, even though it's not everyone's favorite, obviously. The community as a whole kind of has that assumption that Black Ops 2 is like the #1 Call of Duty for the community. And I agree with that, obviously. Black Ops 2 is personally my favorite Call of Duty. So to see it remastered would be great. I'd love to see it. I really don't know what Raven Software is doing anymore with Call of Duty, how they're helping. But I think that if they could do another remastered title like they did with the Modern Warfare Remastered, that would be really good. Honestly, I'm really surprised that Call of Duty didn't even just port over Black Ops 2 originally whenever the current gen consoles came out, the PS4 and the Xbox One. I think that was honestly on Activision's part a really poor decision to not do that. Like, I feel like the amount of resources it would have taken to kind of port over the Xbox 360 and PS3 version Black Ops 2 onto the current gen consoles would not have been that much to drive a $60 price tag on it, and because I would buy it again for $60. I think a lot of people would buy it again for $60. Hell, I'd even buy a couple more of those camos for a couple of dollars too. Of course, they'd probably put in supply drops or something, or a battle pass. But I'd really like to see Black Ops 2 remastered, obviously, and I'm really hoping it comes out in the next 10 years. And I think it's pretty likely that it's going to be coming out in the next 10 years, but we'll just have to wait and see. Honestly, I don't see them remastering Call of Duty Ghosts, unfortunately, whether you like Call of Duty Ghosts or not. Definitely have to be like 360 games. World at War probably wouldn't be remastered either, just because it's so old. Plus, they already like remastered, not remastered. Well, I guess they kind of did remaster a couple of all the zombie maps from World at War, or at least brought them back in Black Ops 1. I think even in Zombies Chronicles and Black Ops 3. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Just kind of like my thoughts on like where Call of Duty is going as a whole as a game over the next 10 years, since we did just start a new decade. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are. Are there anything that you think that Call of Duty could be doing in the next 10 years that might surprise some people right now and that we haven't really seen for Call of Duty? I know we've seen one remastered game, but I'm assuming we're probably going to be getting a lot more here in the future. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and thanks for watching the video. See you on my next one.